The sponsor of my stream and podcast is DistroKid. If you want 10% off on your first subscription with DistroKid, release your music to the world on every major music platform. Make sure to go to my website, andrewvanzark.com, and click on the discount link under the tab of DistroKid. The information on this podcast is my opinion and some internet research.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
Welcome to Star Wars Chatter, hosted by Andrew Van Zark. Now you're listening with power. Hello and welcome to the Star Wars Chatter. I'm Andrew Van Zark, and this is your safe space to discuss Star Wars and music. And like I mentioned on every single episode that I do this recording, if you're listening on AMP, make sure to do so, because that way you can get yourself started chatting with me and getting yourself running with awesome music and stuff like that when I do the music shows, which is getting a character from Star Wars or a planet or a place, and then correlating it with some music that I think they would be listening to if they had a Spotify account or ability to play music other than just, as they call it in Star Wars, jazz, jizz, and stuff like that, It's a true term. You can search it on Wikipedia, so get yourself started with that. But if not, you can listen like how you're listening right now, Apple Podcast or Spotify Podcast. Now let's get ourselves started. We're going to talk today about Season 2, Episode 4 of The Bad Batch. We're going to recap it, we're going to talk about it, and we're going to give my thoughts and stuff like that. So let's get ourselves running and started. So this episode was a bit different, because usually the Bad Batch are sent on really intensive missions, and those missions tend to have a bit of a strategy and whatnot. But this time they were sent to do some, bodyguarding to Sid on riot raising. Another thing than putt racing with some, as we all like to call it, and reference it to like Fast and Furious stunt kind of putt racing. They had guns and stunts and stuff like that, This is something that is totally different. I was not expecting to see Tech ride a pod. It's a good thing that they showed us a different side of what the Bad Batch could be up to. So we lost the art of a good standalone episode. Sure, the widespread embrace of serialism, especially in animated shows, lets the show deliver grand stories in which characters change and evolve across several episodes as the narrative builds towards, a proper ending. Because we're already at episode 4, so things can get any more developed from now, There's only like a few more episodes left, we're already halfway through of the whole season. It is something to keep in mind. So there's not much we could involve ourselves into, but we still can develop these characters a bit more. So it is a very good episode that are not in the in the plot and in the usual things that the Bad Batch are doing. You could probably say this is a filler. So this show convinces you to watch even more, because it's really thrilling, and seeing that pod race and seeing Teo was really, really interesting. And I was laughing the whole way through with Teo, because Teo is this smart-ass droid. Like, literally a smart-ass droid. I can't even explain you how smart-ass was he. When Tech was building him up and fixing him after that accident on the riot raising, he was being a complete smartass and telling him what's best and what's not best and whatnot. But at the end, we all knew that Tech had a really smart way of handling things. In this episode, Echo and Hunter are off in another mission. They're not being seen. They are mentioned, but they are not there. So in this case, for Sid's convoluted situations that she always ends up in, brings Omega and Wrecker and Tech as personal security, while she deals with some high stakes bets on some very fast putt-like vehicles. That's right. And this is a putt racing episode, like I've been saying this whole time, complete with Sebula-esque racers, the firing of weapons on the track, modified cars like Fast and the Furious, like I was trying to compare it to last time, and stunts and plenty of death. The job is to now stand by and prevent Sid from being killed by her old acquaintance and now rival Ming Le, with whom she has a lot of history and beef with. And it was really tense how Ming Le would like talk and be all up her nose, like you owe me what you owe me, pay up. But Omega stood up for Sid, stood up for the gang, and did what she had to do. And that is something I really like about Omega. Omega is one of these characters that she can bring the voice of reason. I've been saying this all the time that I talk about the Bad Batch, that Omega is by far my favorite character, other than Wrecker, because, you know, Omega just does the things right. She knows what's best and what's not, even though sometimes she feels like she's not adequate for the team and she shouldn't be there. But in the long run, she does prove that she's meant to be there. And there's many characters within the Bad Batch that say, you know, I left the clones and all that behind, and I took on my inhibitor chip, and I took you with me. That's what the team says, and they say they would do it all over again. It's a thing that I like, how Omega deals with things, you know. It's a great thing that Omega stood up for Sid, that she did what she had to do, because what would have happened if Omega would have not stood up for Sid and would have not done what she had to do, you know? Tech and Wrecker were like, are you serious? We should back off. This guy looks serious. This guy looks like he could bring us some bad things to the whole gang, you know? But Omega still said, you know, I'll do it. I'm gonna go and I'll pay up, you know? But you know, what was more interesting about that moment when Omega stood up for Sid, she says, I'll pay you double if we lose. If we win, we'll take Sid back. And that for me was like, wow, Omega's really confident on herself, you know? It was kind of, in a way, sad that Teo got destroyed for a second time, and they couldn't have Teo to work around and do the racing. But who stood up and said, I'll do it? Tech. Tech was actually having a little fuss and some beef with Teo, saying that he doesn't know how to do things. And Teo says, you know, I know what I'm doing. You know, offensiveness is best strategy ever. And Tech was saying, no. The best strategy is being, you know, analytic. You know, and Tech was being analytic. And when Tech actually stood up and says, I'll do the race, he actually shows that being analytic, that taking risk and doing what's out of the norm, it's what brings you to the top and lets you win the whole way through. And that's how they won the race. It's a way that to show people that being cocky, being a show off, and being that person that thinks that knows it all doesn't make you a right person, doesn't make you that you know it all. In fact, if you think you know it all, it's when you are really just way under that. You're far away from knowing it all. You know, that's the day you know nothing whatsoever. That's why you have to be mindful and kind and humble about your actions and your words. So now that we're talking about Teo is a funny and interesting character because he is probably the first droid we've met who is just a total douchebag without any redeeming qualities or childlike innocences. So far, we've met kind droids, funny droids, who are mistreated by organics, like humans, you know? And silly battle droids with dumb catchphrases that our heroes annihilate at every turn. But not only does Teo show off a lot, and he also says things in a straightforward way that it could be a little taunting, a little mean, you know? And Teo, if I was actually in a situation where Teo was talking to me and being so show off, I would literally say, you know what, screw you, I'm going home. Because every single second that I saw Teo talking, I was like, come on, shut up and let Tech do the thing. You know, it was funny when Tech was building up and fixing Teo. He says, you don't know how to fix my arm and my legs. What are you doing? And then literally Tech ends up fixing and making Teo feel way better. And that's something that lets you know that just shut up and let the experts know what they're doing. Just because you have a method and it supposedly works doesn't mean the other method ain't gonna work. Sometimes they prove you wrong and they show you that it is possible to do any other format or ways. So, moral of the story, don't be a douchebag. Come on, don't be a douchebag. We don't need any more douchebags in this world. So, later on in the episode, naturally, Ming Leggy's pilot cheats. One such pilot, Yet Venom, a classic Star Wars name, works with a buddy to trap Teo and make him crash. It is a stunning racing sequence, one that captures the excitement, danger, and thrilling sound design of the pod racing sequence in The Phantom Menace. Unlike the Bon Ta-Eve classic, though, these speeders are equipped with laser guns that sometimes accidentally shoot at the audience and kill one of them, or two of them, to be more specific. It was funny when that happened, because when the shooting just starts going everywhere and it kills two of the audiences, the narrator or the commentator of the race was saying, "Well, this is Riot Racing. We're not responsible for any death or injuries caused by the racers. Thank you and enjoy the race." And I was like, what the hell? What is this? A convoluted mass destruction kind of bullshit shit? Oh my god. Because imagine yourself, you went to like a martial arts fight or a boxing match or something like that, and then the announcer goes like, "We're not responsible for punches thrown at your face and you having a broken nose. I'm not sorry." And I'm like, what? What the fuck am I doing here? I came here to see them fight, not get myself beat up. Come on. Jesus. That's not even right. But it is what it is. You know, they should have done... But I know that it takes out the fun and the thrill of it on the show, but they could have done like the MLB, where it has like a net or a wall or something to prevent the balls to get it into the audience's faces. They could have done something like that, you know? But it is what it is, you know? So throughout the episode, Leggy tries to get Sid to fall back on old scum and villainy habits. But she keeps saying that she's not on those ways anymore. And she keeps warning the Bad Batch not to trust her. Omega trusts everyone unconditionally. However, so she tries to save Sid by doubling down on her bet. We don't really know how Sid got into this moment and why do we get to meet Leggy, but we are in this situation, and Omega always does what's best and what's right. Because I keep saying, Omega is the voice of reason within the Bad Batch. They're supposed to all be clones and equal and similar, but the Clone Force 99 are not similar. They do have a slight different trait that makes them who they are. Clear, she wasn't the most trustworthy person. She worked as an informant for the Jedi, but then again, so did Cad Bane at times. Sure, Sid gives the group jobs, but she is also getting them in trouble all the time. So is it worth it for them to stick their necks out for her? Omega likes her, but would Sid put herself in danger for them? That's the question we might be all asking ourselves. I don't think Sid would do it, but after this episode, I do think Sid has probably changed a little bit her mind, and seeing that the Bad Batch are willing to sacrifice themselves to keep Sid safe and alive. And that, in my opinion, should change your mind in some shape or form, you know? Because if you're not changing your mind after that, then you're a cold, selfish, dim-witted person. I'm just gonna say it that way. So, gotta open up sometimes, you know? So with Teo losing his limbs and then seemingly his life after yet another crash, Tech decides to race himself, trusting his own calculations and instincts. Taking calculated risk, Tech decides to ditch his speeder weapons and focused all on energy on the shields in order to gain speed. Granted, the shields don't last him forever, especially with so many racers set on shooting Tech down, so he needs to do more. he got out-tricked and out-cheated. The others were trying to destroy him, so the whole sequence ranks among the most thrilling things the Bad Batch has done so far. From its sound design to the look at the race, mostly lit by neon advertisements on the racetracks that give the sequence a look, blending the pod racing sequence in The Phantom Menace with the opening speeder chase in Attack of the Clones. So one of the best scenes in that movie, and we do have to say that this brings it to a really humongous good level with the Bad Batch. You know, we always think that the Bad Batch is just going to be your typical, you know, military group and doing all these heists and shit. But no, they sometimes like to go and have some fun, even though they weren't thinking about it. It was all caused by Sid. She still got them into doing something fun, you know. Pod racing must be really fun, you know. So Tech decides to take the left tunnel near the end of the track. It's the shortest of them 3 tunnels, but it had been closed off the entire episode because it's missing part of the track. Without the weight of the weapons, Tech manages not to fall to his death and catches up to Jet Venom and the other cheating racers. Tech tricks them into entangling each other and crashing, giving our boy the surprised last-minute win. Victorious, Tech, Wrecker, and Omega go collect their prize, a captive Sid. She is relieved and surprised, while Omega is just happy her faith in her friends seem to be proved right this time. Before they leave, though, Milagi warns Wrecker and Tech to watch their backs around Sid, because loyalty doesn't always go both ways with her. Of course, this starts a ticking clock for Sid's inevitable betrayal of the Clone Force 99, and it will be devastating when it happens. In the meantime, however, our boys are not just fugitives from the Empire, but bona fide racers as well. That this is an interesting thing to note out from the episode. We get to see like a 3PO kind of character at some point, and that was interesting for me to say the least. Omega and Wrecker play a hollow chess at the beginning of the episode, and it is quite nice to see the animation replicate the look of Phil Tiplett's stop-motion figures. Unsurprisingly, Omega is way better at the game than her brother, and she goes like, "You owe me 2 cartons of milk." Omega, she always knows what to do, you know. It's a really nice episode. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you to go watch it. Just me talking about it doesn't do any justice to the episode whatsoever at all. We have to actually sit down and watch those nice 20 minutes of episode. In fact, watch the entire series of The Bad Batch till now, if you haven't seen it whatsoever. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, hence why I do this Star Wars show, and it's one of those awesome things. Now, that was my thoughts and opinions and recap of the episode of The Bad Batch Season 2, Episode 4, Fast. Pod racing, shooting, and bets. It's what happens on this episode. Sure, some people might say it's a filler, but, you know, it is what it is. I loved it, I had fun, it's a thrill, and it's fast-paced. So, if you want to follow me and stay in touch with me, I'm Andrew Van Zark on every social network and also on every major music platform where I upload all my music. And if you want to have fun and join the chat and do everything that I do on air, check out AMP if you have the chance to download the app. Or if you can listen on the web, go ahead and do so. But let's have some fun, and may the Force be with you. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Adios, amigos! Roll that outro.
The Force is with you, young Skywalker. But you are not a Jedi yet.
This was Star Wars Chatter, your safe space who's got Star Wars, music, video games, and other geeky topics. Listen on AMP, the Amazon Radio app, and get yourself started by listening to my music on every major music platform under Andrew Van Zark. But if you want to have more information, go to my website, www.androvansart.com, where you can find all my social medias, music, and everything else all in one page. Trust in the Force, no lights beating, and buckle up. Now you're listening with power. Power to the music, and may the Force be with you.
TV